one of the coolest things with SpotOn, I think, okay, is the fact that we pay daily. One of the cool things is you can go out and have a call today, have a successful phone call or a cold call in person, close a deal. Let's say it's $60,000, $70,000 a month. You make $600, $700 commission, and the next day that money's in your account. It's unbelievable. All right. I never hear issues about pay. And that is so nice as a person that runs a region, right? I never worry about my guys calling me about pay. And what I also love about it is if you need $1,000 by Friday, you can make that happen Monday through Thursday and have that money in your account by Friday. Let's say your mortgage is due Friday and it's Monday today and you're watching this video. You could go out and have that mortgage payment in the bank by Friday. You're not sitting there waiting 2 to 3 weeks for a paycheck. And it's on your portal. You'll see it paid in your account the next day. By the way, that is also on your test, so keep that in mind. All right, so service. Let's talk about service for just a minute, all right? Everybody talks about great service, right? If you've ever had your own business, you talked about great service. Any place you walk into says they have great service. And yet, service is terrible today. How many of you can agree with me that now you go out to eat somewhere, right? Or you, food, great example. We all eat out. And how often do you get truly exceptional service? And how often are people just mailing it in, coming to your table, asking you what you want, doing the bare minimum? Sometimes they don't even come back and check on your food to see how everything's going. That's the society we live in now, right? We live in a society where everything's hurry up, quick. I want it now, and people forget about service. So one of the cool things about SpotOn, one of the things that I love personally, okay, is the fact that we are a digital media company. We move very fast, right? We just talked about, we pay you daily, right? We get equipment out within a couple of days. We take care of our merchants instantly. But at the same time, we offer old-fashioned service. That's what I like to call it. I don't know if the guys behind me will like that, but that's what I like to call it, old-fashioned service. And what does that mean? So let's talk about it, all right? It's integrated payment processing mixed in with our cutting-edge software product, all right? So that makes life easier right there. To me, that's the front end of service, right? It's kind of like active and passive safety systems in your car. A lot of them are happening, right, without you even knowing. And then all of a sudden somebody slams their brakes on in front of you and boom, you know, right? Because your car is wired for automatic braking assist, okay? I like to think of SpotOn kind of the same way with our technology, right? We're making life easier for the merchant, and that's part of service. When you can do payments and our core product in the same place, where you don't have to like have 3 different systems running, trying to figure out what's going on, that's service. That makes life a lot easier because what it does is makes your business more efficient and helps you grow. As a business owner, if you're spending all your time trying to figure out your products, right? How much time do you have for growth? How much time do you have to actually work on things that are going to grow your business and help you succeed? Not very much time. So what's the second part of service? That's what we talked about already. Transparent pricing. No hidden fees. Making life simple. Because again, put yourself in your merchant's shoes. You're sitting there and just signed up with Misha Redmond, right? Processing. And you get your first bill and everything's great. And you think this is awesome. I'm saving some money from my previous processors. And all of a sudden the second month you have a fee. And you have no idea what that fee is. It just says $19.95 miscellaneous charge. And you're pretty busy. So guess what? You kind of put it aside or you don't think about it. Or you go, well, it's only 20 bucks. I'm too busy. And then another month goes by and you've got that same charge on there. Now it's starting to get annoying. Plus, you notice your rates went up. Well, wait a minute here. Didn't Misha come in and say that my rates weren't going to go up? So the reason I make this point is service is part of that equation because business owners don't have the time to be chasing down $20, $30, $40. And that's why these processors are doing that because they know these merchants don't have time. They know they're most likely not going to call in for a $20 charge where their rates went up 3 or 4 basis points. They don't have time. And as a business owner, time is your most valuable asset. So to me, that's part of service as well. Because what we're doing is making your life simple. You know what your bill's going to be. It's transparent. You can look it up right on your app. There's nothing hidden. And to me, those time savings, those calls you don't have to make, that trust that you're building with a company and your sales rep is everything. And if you're an ethical person like I am, that means everything to you. Because if you have a company that doesn't back up what you say, how much faith do you have left in that company? How much faith do you have left in SpotOn? So we take that very, very seriously. And then, of course, continuous support. Okay. I tell my salespeople all the time, your best time to get referrals or to build your business is by going back and setting up your customers. And we have this now on the portal, and I'd like all of you to capture it. But basically what it is I think there's like 16 things that need to be done when you set up a merchant. And yeah, you can do the basics, right? You can go in, drop off their terminal, plug it in, run a test transaction, run out of there, and they're technically set up, aren't they? But guess what? That is not going to help you build your business. That's not going to help SpotOn build its brand. And you're certainly not going to get any referrals. So what I encourage all of you to do is to take that sheet, that customer checklist, I think it's called, right? And make sure you're checking every single box. What I do actually for my team is we do carbonless copies of that. They have them in their bag. When they do a setup with a merchant, they go through those steps one by one. They check the boxes, and there's even a signature line on there. And even more importantly, there is a place for a couple referrals on the bottom of that chart. So let me ask you, which guy would you rather work with or girl would you rather work with? The person that dropped off the terminal, showed you how to run a test transaction and head out the door, the person that spent 30, 45 minutes with you, showed you all the aspects to core, helps you understand what you're really doing with that, right? And then ask you for a couple referrals. You're going to be much more likely to do that. So that's part of the service. Part of the service is you. If you can remember one thing of all the stuff we're going to go over here, one thing, it's take care of your customers. Do not forget about them. And for some reason, salespeople, including myself, we get nervous maybe. Oh, if I stop in, what if they cancel? You know, what if they're unhappy about something? What if they don't want to see me? What if they don't remember me? Whatever. Put it aside. Put it aside. Because here's the thing. If they're going to cancel, they're going to cancel anyway. And maybe you're going to catch them before they do. Giving them an opportunity. Give yourself an opportunity. You save that deal. Okay, to find out what's wrong. You want to know what's going on with your customers. Now, once you're really busy, once you have hundreds of accounts out there, which I hope all of you do, by the way, okay, it's going to get tougher and tougher to do that. And honestly, at that point, you probably want to hire somebody. You get to a certain point, you're going to want to hire somebody to make those calls for you. But here's my rotation. Every 3 months, I still have a portfolio of over 800 customers that I built before I came to SpotOn, and they get a call. I have a person in the office that works part-time, and they call my people. So every 3 months they're getting a call, and I get a report twice a week when Todd works. I get a report. Here are the issues. Here's what you need to deal with, and here's a list of the referrals. And he brings in 6, 7, 8 referrals a week for me. Okay, so the money I pay him is paid for with referrals. But starting out, you don't need a person. What you need is yourself, and you need to spend that time. Okay, we'll talk about working territory correctly and a little bit later in this call. But it's so crucial you do things the right way from the beginning. And what's cool about this time we're spending here together, all of you have either are brand new or you've written a deal. You've written one deal. So that's why you're even on this call. So you can do things right from the beginning. And what I want to do, my entire purpose of this call, besides getting you certified, right, is helping you avoid the mistakes that I made. Because I made plenty, okay? I want you to avoid those mistakes so that you can get to those residual markers quicker than I did. And when I talk about markers, the first $1,000 a month coming in, right? the first 5,000, the first 10,000. Those are big markers. I remember when I started, I said, if I get to 10,000 a month, I am done. I'm retiring. Well, didn't happen. Because once you get to 10, then you want 12, and you want 15, and you want 20, and keep on going. And here, I'm still here. Okay. But the bottom line is that might be you. You might decide, hey, if I get to $10,000 a month, my bills are $3,000, $4,000, I'm good. I'm going to take care of those merchants. I'm going to build the portfolio from there, but I'm not going to spend my days out knocking on doors or networking or doing some of the other tools that we're going to give you. And that's your choice. Okay. But if I can give you one piece of advice, it's take care of your customers. And we're going to do that. That's the third level of support, right? So with the easy to use technology, combines everything. Okay. We have the transparent pricing, no hidden fees, and then we have support. You are the first line of support, then our team back here. And we've got a great team. And we've got a customer engagement team, full-time people here that their entire job is to reach out to your merchants, help them understand core, and help them grow with our product. So I think really important that you understand those components of what we're doing here. So let's talk about rates for just a minute, okay? Rates are complicated. That's really it in a nutshell. And one of the reasons that I think Square did so well in the market when they launched is they had a very simplistic, right, pricing structure. 275 on your qualified cards, 3.5 on your non-qualified cards with 15-cent transaction fees. And people love that, even though they were paying more than they were with a lot of processors. I have accounts that are under 2% and net effective, right? So if you effective, just real quick, all that means is you take your total charges, divide by your total sales. And really, that's the only number that matters, right? The rest is smoke and mirrors. What did I really pay for the car, right? If we're talking about cars, what did I really pay for the car at the end of the day? It doesn't matter what that, it was $17,995 up front, right? What matters is, what did I walk out the door with? Did I buy that rust protection? Did I buy the fabric stuff? Okay, that's what matters. And so a lot of processors operate the same way. Well, we're going to give you this low rate, 10, 15 points over cost. But they don't talk about all the back end fees, all the junk fees, all the extra stuff. And we talked about that earlier in the call, right? And that can add up. They might only be getting charged $6, $8, $10 in processing fees, but then another 60 in junk fees in the back. So here's one of the cool things that we offer. As long as their average ticket is above $7.50, okay? As long as it's above that marker, we have what we call a $1,000 guarantee, all right? We will literally write the merchant a check for $1,000 if we can't save them money. It has yet to happen to me. In our market, we've signed just under 600 merchants so far. We've yet to have to pay that out. But I'll tell you, it's really effective. The SpotOn guarantee, it's called. It's on your portal. Here's what I recommend, because this is what I have my team do. I recommend that you print that off. You take it, or you send the file to your printer. You get it laminated on a little bit of thicker stock, and you throw that in your bag when you're out in the field. Okay, it's a very powerful tool. I had a guy when we first launched our market. He actually brought with him $1,000 in cash in an envelope, and he would bring that out with him, and he would literally throw that down on the counter in front of a merchant and say, "How would you like to make $1,000 today?" And they would usually laugh. But there was 10 100s, and he made sure they were extra crispy, okay, laying in front of them. So it got their attention. I know I don't recommend that. Not everybody has $1,000 to even do that, but almost as effective as if you can get that $1,000 SpotOn guarantee laminated and have that in front or in your bag, excuse me, when you're out talking to people. It's extremely effective. Nobody does it. I used to do $100 with my company, and that's just not enough to move the needle anymore. But $1,000, I'm telling you, it really, really gets people to sit up and take notice. So I think that's really, really important. What you see is what you get. Okay, there's no trickery. Okay, I wouldn't even be on this call, to be honest with you, if I thought there was any trickery at all. I'm here because of the ethics and integrity that this company has. And that's a no BS statement. And I love the fact, like I said, that I can go out and I know that my merchants are getting what I told them they were getting. I've yet to have a phone call with somebody that says, this is totally different than what you told me. And I used to get that all the time when I had my own ISO, and you're relying on that processing company behind you to do things ethically, and then they decide they're not going to do things ethically, and you're the rep, you're the person out there, puts you in a really bad spot. So statements. Every one of our merchants is going to get a statement every month. It's on their portal. You can go under the help tab. They can see it right there. It's going to have their statement. Usually those are around the 5th or 6th of the month. Everything's very transparent, easy to see. It's going to show what the actual interchange cost was, which, remember, we talked about is true cost, right, on the cards. And then it's going to show our markup, whether it's 20 points, 30, 40, whatever it is. And that's it. It's going to be very, very simple because we don't have any of those other fees. And then they're going to get billed separately $25 for our core fee, unless, of course, they added loyalty or a point terminal, some of those other products, which we'll talk about here in a second. So I think that's really, really awesome. So on the front end, right, you've got this ability to offer people $1,000, which I think is extremely powerful. Now, a lot of people aren't going to believe you, okay, which is why the printout is really helpful. But even better, on the back end, we also offer a guarantee, which is we will match, right, or beat any competitor's rates. If someone comes in and tries to take your account from you and offers them a better rate, we will match or beat that rate. And it's in our little packet that we send out to all your merchants. All right, it's right in there is our guarantee. So again, we're all about helping you with attrition. And we know you work extremely hard to get a merchant. It's not easy. It's super competitive, right? So when you get a merchant, we want to be sure that that merchant is taken care of and stays with you for a long time. Because number one, we're your partner, right? We split the profit 50-50. So that's when we get our money back that we've invested, right? And when you think about all the money that we're pouring into an account before they've even spent $1 processing with us, right? We've had to pay you, we've had to pay me, we've had to pay for the office space, all the people behind you, right? The recruiting team, the terminal we're giving them for free. All of those things go into a merchant before they swipe one single card through the terminal and we get any revenue back, okay? Really important. And I'll tell you why that's important, that statement that I just made. It's because it's going to help you close more deals, okay? Because if you have that integrity and you talk to a merchant like I just talked to you right here, right now, that's going to help you close a lot of deals. Because the merchants aren't going to trust you a lot of times. They don't know you, okay? And they're going to say, well, how are you any different from any other processor? Well, let me tell you how we're different. We don't lease you equipment. We don't charge you a startup setup fee. We're investing in your business before you ever give us a single dollar. And on top of that, we're not putting you in a contract. So if you're not happy with us, you can go somewhere else. What that does is it forces us to put our best foot forward every single month to make sure that you're taken care of so we don't lose you as a customer. I don't know the exact number, but somewhere between 16 and 20 months is the average payback before we even get our initial investment back on each merchant that we're signing up, which is why it's very hard to get into this business in the first place. Not to even talk about core, right? And the millions of dollars we spend on developing things. Just to be able to upfront merchants, equipment, pay salespeople, pay recruiters and support and all the other things you've got to pay, you've got to have a lot of money to be able to do that. Otherwise, what happens? You got to charge people. You got to charge them setup fees. You got to lease some terminals. You do all those kinds of things because you can't pay your people, okay? So again, really, really important. All right, so just looking at this list here, it's crazy, all these other fees that other companies are charging. So here are a few of them. $199 setup fee. I used to charge it. I had a $195 setup fee on my applications. We didn't always charge that, but it was there. A lot of my reps charged the full $195. Then we've got annual PCI compliance, $125 per location, on average, nationwide. Early termination fee, $300 to $500. Statement fee, $9.95. Monthly minimum fee, $25. So here's the way the minimum works. You're not doing any processing, and we're going to charge you for doing no processing. Isn't that a joke? But that's how it works. So you're a small merchant, and I've only made $2 off of you, right? Because you didn't have a great month or you didn't do a lot of processing. I made $2 off of you. So what do? I turn around and slap another 23 on your account because you didn't hit your minimum of 25. That's what these companies are doing. Your merchants are never going to hit a minimum. If they have a bad month or they don't do any processing, they're still going to pay $0, just like they do if they have a huge month. Because on the credit card side of the equation, we don't charge. All right. And we've got monthly service fees. We've got enhanced products, some of the stuff they don't even have on here, batch fees, right? Non-PCI compliance fees. This is one of the biggest ones I see out there. And you'll talk to merchants and they'll say, I called them. I know I took care of that. They said they were going to credit me. Well, it's still here on your statement. And on average, guess how many months these merchants are paying that non-compliance fee? 9 months. 9 months times $40. It's $360 these merchants are paying before they even notice they're paying that fee. Unbelievable. Okay. So just to review really quickly, transparent pricing, $1,000 guarantee. Don't recommend the $1,000 in cash. If you want to do it, that's your choice. It definitely works, but so does laminating the $1,000 guarantee page. Also make sure your merchants know that if someone comes in and knocks our rates around, we're going to match or beat their rates. Okay, so that's another big thing. And then full disclosure on statements. No hidden fees, no junk fees at any time. We want to be different, people. Okay? Square is the only other company I know of that does that, except they can't even come close to our 2-rate pricing, which, by the way, is 1.89 and 2.99 compared to 2.75 and 3.5. So we got your back there too. Okay, so that's really important as well. The SpotOn team, nationwide field sales team. You've probably seen a slide, something like this right about now, but honestly, really friggin' cool. Just looking at this map, pretty much, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 states we don't have reps in right now, but we have a nationwide sales team, which again, the reason you're going through this certification is to make sure you're doing things the right way, because we're all kind of relying on each other, right? Think of us, all of us sales partners nationwide, all working together. If Tim Brown goes down the street and does something wrong and he's using the SpotOn name, that's going to affect your sales, because then you walk in there or you walk to a business close by and they say, well, Tim Brown was just in here and he was absolutely terrible. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was talking about. So really important that we're all on the same page, because we are all employees, but also very cool that we have this tremendous connection nationwide of sales partners all out there doing the same thing. And there's going to be days when you wake up. Well, I left Minneapolis this morning, minus 26, by the way, and minus 60 with the wind chill, right? You think my guys want to go out there and sell today? No, but they did, and they do, okay? And the part of the reason they do that is they know there's other people out there doing the exact same thing as they are. And let me give you a little secret about this whole thing. It's called residual. And we'll talk more about it a little bit later in this call, but just in a nutshell, one of the only jobs besides maybe insurance where you can build a portfolio, right, by saving people money. And you can get paid on that portfolio month after month after month. Okay, I'm 48 years old. I've sold 2 portfolios, and I've still got a residual stream coming in where I don't have to worry about money. All my bills are covered with my residual stream every month before I even get up out of bed. And I'm telling you, the hard work you put in now is going to pay off. 3 years from now, you'll be laughing at your friends that have to get up at 6 a.m. and go to a job they hate. If you put in the time and work now to build this up, I'm nothing special. I'm just like you. 12 years ago, I'd never heard of this business before. I was a trainer for Dish Network. Before that, I sold business cards, full color business cards, door to door. Okay? I'm no different than you. The only thing I did was I went out there and I worked hard. And let me tell you something else. Back then, we got paid $50 a deal. 50. And if we did 5 in a week, we get a $250 bonus. And if we did 30 in a month, we got a $2,000 bonus. And that was the only way I was able to survive. Being number one in the country and doing 30 sales a month, that was $3,000, and that doubled what I made in commissions. Because generally I made around $3-4 in commissions. I needed that money. I needed that bonus. If you, with the SpotOn pay plan, are just above average, my average rep writes 10 deals a month. Okay, if you can do that, 10, 12, 15 deals a month, in 3 years from now, you will be sitting on a pile of dough coming in every single month that you don't have to worry about your bills. And you can manage your portfolio, you can hire some people, you can still grow, but you're not going to have to do that daily grind. And how many people can say that? There's some of you out there probably 25 years old right now. Some of you are probably 55 years old right now. I train people all over the country, all sorts of variety of ages. Doesn't matter. This is a retirement plan that can pay off in 3 years, as little as 3 years. You could have $15,000 to $20,000 a month coming in. And if you haven't listened, you should listen to my residual, how to supersize your residual and build $5,000 a month residual in your first year. It's very, very doable. Okay, and that's the reason you should all be sitting here. Are there going to be days you make zero money? Yes. There's also going to be days you make $2,000, $3,000 in a day. But it's that residual that's the key. Nationwide field sales team, talk about that just a little bit. We'll start with a guy named Donnie Jones. You've probably seen him. He's on the leaderboard quite frequently. His first month, 28 deals. Does over 20 every month. So what does he do? He's in a small town in Mississippi, had a steady career, had a nice salary, but he wanted to build something for himself. And I've gotten to know Donnie very, very well. He's actually coming to my wedding in a few months. Great guy. And what Donnie does is hard work. I mean, really, that's the bottom line. Whereas, you know, your sales directors will tell you hit 25, 30 doors a day. I have a little different philosophy, which I'll talk to you about in our payment processing space here. But the bottom line is Donnie hits over 80 doors a day. The first time I ever talked to him, he was having a quick dinner with his wife. It was 7 o'clock at night. And then he was heading back out to go work some more. He works on Saturdays. He works on Sundays if he has to. Okay. Bottom line is Donnie Jones is out working. You don't need to work that hard. I'm going to show you some techniques so that you don't have to knock on 80 doors a day and you can still have the same success. But the reason I point Donnie out is because he's willing to do that. He does what it takes. He doesn't go home until he's got a deal. He literally lies in wait on the leaderboard and watches people creep up and then make sure he stays ahead of them. He's extremely competitive. I just read an article actually about Tom Brady, who, as we're recording this, we're a couple of days away from the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady, they interviewed him, and like or hate him, he basically said, listen, some people are born with big muscles or they're huge, great hands or whatever they need for football. I was born with the will to win and to be competitive. And that was instilled in me by my family early on in my life. I've never forgot it. I still do it today. That's why at 41 years old, I'm still out here playing football and perhaps we'll win another Super Bowl. That remains to be seen. But the bottom line is that's what Donnie has. All right. Donnie has that will to win, that competitiveness. One of my guys on my team, Nick Fisher, is always trying to chase him down. Greg Quashia is another guy on my team trying to chase Donnie down. And for some reason, he always seems to manage to win. And why? It's because he doesn't want to lose. So that's what you can learn from Donnie Jones. Mario, another guy, 20 years in the industry. He's a family guy. He wants to help businesses, and he wants to help mentor new people in this industry. Been around the block, 20 years in the space, and he's yet he's here at SpotOn. And why do you think that is? It's because we have transparent pricing. It's because we pay triple what most merchant companies pay, and because he sees that we're more than just a processing company. It's why a guy like Mario exists and why he's doing so well with us. Elizabeth B. emigrated from the Philippines, never had experience in this industry, has some connections within her community. Another great way, by the way, to build your business, become successful, get out there, make things happen. Okay. But the bottom line is that's another person that's extremely successful, had never done this before. Donnie also never had done this before. How about James out of Boston, Mass? Vietnamese ancestry, has strong ties to his community. He owns a salon and specifically targets that vertical. We'll talk a little bit more about this in Sales 101. But the bottom line is, if you have a vertical that you're comfortable with, I highly encourage you to get out there and get after that vertical. That's one of the most easiest ways to build your business. For me, it's automotive. I love cars. I've always loved cars. I understand that business. I sold cars for a while. I get it. I get how they make money, how the whole process works, what their struggles are. We have another lady here at SpotOn. She was a massage therapist. She's focused just on that vertical. Massage therapists, chiropractors, right? Physical therapists. If you know a segment of the population, that's the segment you should go after. It just makes things a lot easier. So those are 4 examples of people. And honestly, Mario's the only guy that ever had any industry experience. All the rest of these people are brand new to the industry. So if you're sitting there right now going, well, I never did this before. I worked at a restaurant, or I fixed cars, or I worked in an office, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay. I sold Dish Network, trained Dish Network reps. I knew nothing about this industry. You can do this. And this video, this time that we have together, is designed to help you do this and be successful. So just to review your management team with you a little bit, Zach Hyman, Matt Hyman, the twins, we talked about them a little bit. All right. Co-founders, along with Doran, who is head of product and runs our Chicago office. RJ Horsley, our president, is fantastic, by the way. He's so engaged with everybody, and I think I shared with you, I think he has a photographic memory. Youngster compared to me, but man, does this guy have it down. And you'll never find anybody more dedicated to your success than RJ Horsley. I deal with him almost every day. Christopher Atkinson, been around the industry forever, vice president of sales, has done extremely well with this team that he's built here, which, by the way, all of the sales directors that you're dealing with report to him directly. So he has a direct influence on what you're doing. Brad Nunchi is director of marketing. We have our own full-time marketing department. How cool is that? Garrett works for Brad. They do a fantastic job. Lon's son, who is director of IT. So you want products changed, adjusted, upgraded, changed, that whole hub, right, that you're using every day. That's done by Lon and his team. Teresa Hernandez, director of merchant support. All right, she's here to help you. Sasan, director of tech, bright young guy that just understands compatibility with other processors, other equipment, POS systems. Great resource for you. Matthew Ross, most of you have probably talked to him at one point or another. He heads up our recruiting department, fantastic guy. Mary Navarez is our human operations, our human resources manager, human operations. Marshall Miller, the company we just bought, Imagine, out of Detroit, he's the head of our POS sales. You're going to absolutely love our restaurant POS, by the way. I don't say this lightly, but there's nothing as cool in the country that I've seen for restaurants than what we have. And we are about to explode in that market. So your timing is phenomenal. Jenny Martinez, underwriting. That's obviously people that make sure you get paid. They underwrite your accounts. They check on them, make sure they're real, legitimate. And she heads that up. And then Lee is our director of finance. So Lee handles payroll, and she'll handle expense reimbursement for some of our regional managers, but she's making sure W-2s are done right, all of those things. So you've got a great team here. I mean, really, really fantastic team. As I mentioned, I'm vice president of product development and business development. And my job is to help you become a better sales pro out there, give you the tools and resources to avoid a lot of the mistakes. And honestly, I want anybody that I work with, right? Whether it's a SEAL Team 6 member, it's somebody on my team, anybody I talk to nationwide on the phone, my goal is to make you better at your job. I have a vested interest in making sure that you're successful. That's what I'm here for. So I want you to realize this is just probably the first time that many of us will talk. I'm sure we'll be talking over the next years that you're in this business. I do a lot with Sales Academy, so when we have those, I'll probably meet some of you then. So let's get back to the quiz here, though, a little bit, because I think we missed a few things on that section, and I just want to make sure we're okay. Actually, I think I handled most of it pretty well, but one thing that we didn't talk about, although we just did, is the underwriting manager. So make sure you remember who that is, and it rhymes with beanie. Okay, so just remember that. Anyway, so that kind of covers our first piece of the puzzle here. Hopefully you're getting a lot of value out of this and learning a lot of this. As we go, I'm enjoying the time I'm spending with you. Just trying to cover as much as I possibly can without overwhelming you. But beautiful thing is you do have a rewind button, so you can always skip back if you want to.